know what's all this trash about me.
Stop! Hi, guys. She told me to just start recording. And she won't. She's gonna have a heart attack. Ow! That was my girl part. Ow! Okay, this is gonna be a really bad video. So, hi, guys.
We're
Welcome.
cutting your head off.
I know. It's alright. This is already a train wreck of a video. So,
I said I looked like a whale. And I
she does not. She does not. Okay. So, please don't have a heart attack. Guys, welcome to Topless Topics. This is my mom. She is feeling very insecure and exposed. And she's not even actually showing anything. So, yeah, now you can have some sympathy for me. I'm not topless right now because I promised to give her a back massage if she would make a video for me. So I'm going to be giving her a back massage while we talk. Okay. Today's topic is going to be
right there. Body
positivity and basically how being a nudist, like I said in the video I just shot with my dad, which should be uploaded by the time you guys watch this, being a nudist is not about caring what others think of you. Being a nudist is about being comfortable in your own skin. And, you know, so like if you're looking into, you know, you watch these videos and you're like, well, I want to go to a nudist resort, but I'm just worried, you know, I'm too heavy set, or I'm too hairy, or I'm too whatever. I just want you guys to realize that nobody at a nudist colony is like a 10 out of 10, and that's fine. It's not about being physically attractive for other people. You go to a nudist resort for yourself and for your comfort.
That's true.
So, anyway, but I did a video with my dad, so I wanted to do one with my mom so that she gets her chance to talk as well. So, Mom, how about you tell us your introduction to nudism and, you know, how you came to realize it existed, how you started going to colonies. I mean, Dad said his side of it, but let's hear what you have to say about it.
Well, I guess I'm sure Penny's mentioned, or maybe she doesn't realize it, that I grew up in a rather conservative family.
Oh, I know.
Okay. And, you know, so nudity was considered abhorrent almost. Mm-hmm. And
but not going to jail or anything. That's fine.
No, I didn't do anything like that. And but I always had it in my heart that I preferred to be without clothes. I think the only reason I'm particularly self-conscious now is because I've had 3 major operations, so you can't really see them in the picture.
Yeah, she beat cancer, everybody. She beat cancer.
Well, I haven't exactly beat it.
Well, okay, you got it to...
It's under control.
It's under control. You're still alive, so I consider that a win.
You know, so I have some pretty significant scars on my stomach, which you can't actually see. And so
right,
that just makes me somewhat self-conscious about myself.
So basically you're on the opposite side of this from me, where you are still kind of like, you're nervous about people seeing you at a nudist resort.
No, actually, if I was at a nudist resort, I wouldn't care. It's just that this is going out on the web, and once it's on the web, it's there forever.
She's very scared of anything beyond the internet. I'm not going to go into this super detail, but I'm of the opinion that we are rapidly approaching a time and era where everybody is going to have everything on the internet. There will be no real secrets anymore. So we're just kind of ahead of the curve. We aren't pretending, or I'm not pretending to be something I'm not. Whereas people, you know, be like, oh, I'm very pure and blah blah blah, and then they go, you know, have a sex dungeon or something. Like, I just don't care. I'm fine with that. Anyway, so that's my opinion. That's why I'm like, let's do this. But anyway.
So anyway, my first couple of experiences. Were that Michael took me to a nudist resort that he had actually.
Was this the Swallows?
Gone by on a bicycle, and had
the Swallows burned down, didn't it?
It did burn down.
Yeah, it burned down like 5 years ago.
Longer than that now. Yeah, it's in Harbison Canyon, or it was in Harbison Canyon. I don't think it's the nudist resort anymore.
Yeah, it's a bunch of cinders.
Well, so he had already gone by, had already talked to the owner, and gotten information about it, and so I agreed to go, and we went, and of course we're real self-conscious when we first got there.
As everybody is, pretty much.
And pretty much as Penny says, nobody really looks
Sure.
at you. Of course, at that time, I looked a lot more like Penny than I look like now. So I didn't mind if people saw me and said, yeah, okay, she's a pretty girl. Now they look at me and say, hey, she's a whale, but then after,
They do not.
but then after
Dude, this is America. Everyone's a whale.
But then after they got past, they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we used to go, it was like, nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing that has been explained in a lot of human psychology stuff, is like, we are all so egocentric by nature. We think everybody cares what we look like and what we're doing and stuff like that. But the truth is, like, unless you do something really outrageous or you have some really memorable thing about you, like if you have, you know, like bright purple hair, or if you jump on stage and like pee on everyone, like unless you do something that dramatic, people won't remember you. They won't care. It won't affect them. And this is something I've had happen to me. Like, for instance, I'll be at a party and I'll say something that I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I said that, I'm so mortified. See that person a month later, I'm like, oh god, oh god. They come over like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, but I said that thing. They're like, oh, I forgot about that, whatever.
You said what? What did you say?
No, yeah. And that's the thing
I
you
didn't
really
even notice.
That's the thing you really have to keep in mind, is nobody is going to be as concerned with your appearance as you are. Nobody is going to be concerned with your actions as you are. And, you know, we are all our worst critics and our worst, yeah. So that is a very important thing, not just for nudism, but just for everything in general. But, so before you married Dad, like when you were younger, did you ever walk around the house without a shirt, or just do it in your room?
Probably in my bedroom, because I did have my own room, at least for part of my growing up years. For a lot of it, I had shared it with my sister, and one of my sisters. I had two sisters. Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
She got great thumbs.
So basically, around the girls, it was fine. It was just as soon as any boys and your brothers or your dad were around, it was like, oh god, gotta hide the boobies.
Well, you know, I'm probably overemphasizing that, because I actually grew up in an age when you had 2 or 3 kids in the bathtub at the same time.
So it's like Japanese almost.
Yeah,
It's like a
exactly,
family
exactly. Thing. And it always brings to mind, that issue always brings to mind when Penny was in Girl Scouts, and we were in a camp out up in the mountains, actually in a cabin, and the amount of hot water was pretty sparse. So I said, well, why don't you just have 2 or 3 girls in there at a time? And everybody had a hissy fit.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm thinking, you know, it's not that big a deal. You know, they know what each other looks like. You know,
it's funny because Kaiser and I just shot a video where we were talking about, like, why do we even have separate bathrooms, and people were saying, like, oh, if you don't have a boy bathroom and a girl bathroom, boys will go in and rape the girls, and it's like, what? Like, if you need to just train, you know, same thing with girls, like, just train them to be polite and to not be mean to each other, and that you shouldn't require, like, humans are sophisticated enough that you shouldn't need to put a wall between them to keep them from hurting each other. I mean, you would think that's what jails are for, when people have proven that they can't be trusted not to hurt each other. But anyway.
Well, I think we've just kind of gone the opposite way with this being afraid to be in the same room nude, or in the same bathtub nude, or in the same jacuzzi nude,
I just don't understand.
It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, like, what are they afraid of? Honestly, I wonder if it's just that they're afraid of their bodies being judged, maybe, and that's why they're like, oh no, I can't be naked because I don't want people to see me. And I don't know, it just blows my mind. And it's funny too, because like some of my friends, well, most of my friends, we're all fine being naked around each other. Some of them, though, I see them, I keep leaning against the chair, making it squeak. I see them at this point where I can tell that they want to be, you know, free to be naked like us, but they're nervous about it. And I don't exactly pressure them. I just let them know, you know, like, if you decide to take your shirt off, nobody's going to stare at you. Nobody's going to make any rude comments. Like, feel free to do that. And a lot of times, eventually, they try it. And it's just kind of beautiful to see the expressions
Liberation.
and the liberation. Because, I mean, like, there was one girl that I was hanging out with my boyfriend and some other people, and she was so nervous about it because she had, what do you call it, inverted nipples, which didn't even look like anything, but she was so nervous about it. And when she finally, you know, took her shirt off, like, it was almost like she was surprised that we weren't like, oh my god. Like, we're just, okay. And she was, like, just so much happier after that, and I don't know, it was
about the only response would be, oh, that's what inverted nipples look like. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then go on, you know.
It was interesting, but it wasn't like, oh my god. And it's funny, too, because someone I know, who I will not name, has a lot of really cool tattoos on her her chest area and her back and everything, but she's really nervous about walking around topless, and I'm like, but you have such cool tattoos, don't you want to show them off?
About the only thing that would sometimes draw my attention would be the girls that have rings in their nipples. Because I always look at that and I think, oh my god, don't catch that on anything. You're going to rip your nipple off.
I know, it's funny
that's what worries me.
Avara Rowe, she doesn't really, she doesn't generally get naked at parties, but she's fine with everybody that does. But she has a lot of piercings, and she's getting more piercings. And like she just got some more like down her chest, and she's showing them off to me, and I'm just like, that's cool, but ow, ow, ow.
Ow, ow, ow.
And like one got infected, and she showed me, and I'm just like, nope. Nope. I do eventually want to get one of my eyebrows pierced, but I've been pussing out about it for so many years, I probably will never get it done. But I just think one, you know, non-ear piercing would be nice, but I don't, yeah. But anyway, that's tangential. So I guess, Mom, what would your advice be to people that are interested in nudism, but they're self-conscious, or they just don't really know how to get started?
Well, I'm not really a big fan of clothing optional beaches.
Yeah, a lot of them, they're not policed.
They're not policed.
There's nobody there to make sure that you're not getting photographed or,
exactly.
you know, stared at. So, I mean, staring is, like, uncomfortable, but photographed can seriously, like, someone could send it to your job or whatever, you know, someone posted it to Facebook. And unfortunately, I think this is extremely illegal and extremely unfair, but we do live in a society where an employer, a future possible employer, will, like, look at your Facebook, see, oh my god, you were naked once, and if they're, you know, prudish, if they're religiously against nudity, and they won't hire you. And it is so stupid, because there's absolutely, this is a whole other topic we can do in a future video, but there's no reason to assume that just because someone is okay with getting naked that they'd be a bad employee, but people will make that assumption.
Well, one of my main concerns would be traveling to other countries where they're very conservative.
Yeah.
Then believe it or not, you could end up being arrested for something that was on the internet, which had nothing to do with their country when you did it, but because you're in their country and they can see you on the internet.
That would be really weird.
But it's not that unusual, you know, in some very conservative countries.
Maybe. I mean, I know there's, like, plenty of countries.
But like you said, that's another issue for another
Yeah.
filming.
I was going to say, I know there's countries where, like, if you say something bad about the person that is head of a country or whatever, even if you said it before you were there, if they find it, they'll punish you for it. I guess I could see it happening. It seems really tangential, but anyway.
Well, we take an awful lot for granted being in the United States, and I would be concerned about traveling in some other countries.
And that's something, actually, you just reminded me that a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people comment with sometimes, or whenever I'm talking about this to my friends, where they say, like, why be concerned about, you know, females being able to show themselves off as much as males can when, you know, women are getting killed and blah, blah, blah. And I did a video about this, but basically, I don't understand this attitude that you can only care about, like, one or two causes. Like, you can care about multiple things. You can care about equality of female toplessness and care about, you know, girls getting kidnapped in Nigeria. Like, there's no limit on that. And also that, you know, fighting for one cause can actually help other causes. So, like, fighting for, you know, equal topless rights for women, you're saying women are worthy of equal rights, so you're also tangentially arguing for their reproductive rights and stuff like that. So, anyway, you just made me think of that, because I do get that a lot. I get a lot of the same comments. I actually made a frequently asked questions / suggested page on the Tumblr for this, because every video, people are like, why don't you wear pasties? Why don't you show everything? Why don't you this? Why don't you that? So, I mean, you can still continue commenting it, because I like to see people have discussions. I've probably already seen it. Anyway, I'm being super rambly. Sorry about that. But yeah, so what would your advice be, though, to people that want to get into nudism?
What I was saying was that I think it's better if you want to have your more control over your images that you go to a regular nudist resort.
One where you actually have to like sign things saying, you know, I will not take photography. Ones where there's penalties if you break those rules, because like that's the thing about Black's Beach. Black's Beach is this beach here in San Diego where they used to have lifeguards. It used to be an actual public beach where you were, you know, under some sort of protection from people taking your picture and stuff. But the ordinance or whatever, people argued that, I don't even know how it went, it was before my time, but basically people argued that it was like, the city shouldn't be protecting this beach, so they took away all the lifeguards and everything, and now it's a at your own risk kind of thing. I mean, I still went there.
Any
still enjoyed it.
Clothing optional place that you go to, you do run that risk. And there are some actual nudist resorts where it's considered clothing optional.
And by the way,
and actually, at the Swallows, in a sense, it was in the pool area.
Yeah,
you were required to be nude unless you obviously needed to wear protection for some reason.
By the way, the difference between clothing optional and nudist is clothing optional means you can or can't wear clothes. It's up to you. Nudist means you have to be naked, and the reason for that is to prevent, you know, people that are just there to stare at people. They don't actually want to be naked themselves, they just want to stare at other people. So by forcing everyone to be naked, I guess it cuts down on that happening, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, and my advice in my last video with Dad, about if you want to get into it, is just test it around in your house first. You know, just try going without a shirt, and, you know, I would recommend wearing underwear just so you don't sit on anything funky, but, you know, just walk around with minimal clothing and see how you feel, and if you like it, then go ahead and see what nudist colonies are in your area, or if you have a house, you know, a friend with a house with a lot of land and they don't mind, you can test it out at a party there or something. Just, you know, be aware that there are douchebags out there that might take a picture. Probably not, especially not in an actual nudist colony, but just, you know, weigh the risks. Yeah, nudist resort. Just
colony usually implies you live there.
Sorry, I'm at resort. There are people that live in the nudist resort, and that's kind of cool, actually. There's places where they have like a whole little school and a store and everything, so you really don't have to leave
stores.
it. Yeah, so they're
not what they used to be in the olden days.
Yeah.
You know, now their whole towns can be nudist